One thing I would say, like this tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, this kind of stops once you're out of college. Okay, maybe it helps till you're getting a college placement. After that, if you did or you did not, it just stops, more or less. Okay, then what matters is actually what you're doing next. So people who are in AccioJob or whosoever are doing some courses and all, if you do it for like 6 months, you're back on track. Okay, so in the next 10 years, 6 months won't amount to anything, right? So what I would suggest to focus on is actually building your skill set now. Okay, it doesn't really matter what college you come from and all. Once you have a good portfolio, once you are able to clear the data structure questions, no one's going to question why you are from this college or what. They're going to focus on your skills. They're going to focus on how you're thinking in the interview.
Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing good. We are back with a new video. This video is going to be really special for anyone who is looking for opportunities outside India, right? Even if you're someone who is looking forward to make a switch into tech industry, you will find it extremely helpful. Today we have Rohan with us. Rohan passed out from Thapar University. He did his BTech in computer science. Right after his graduation, he worked in JP Morgan for a year, and then he prepared for a job in Amazon, and then he finally landed one in Amazon Luxembourg. He worked there for quite some time, and in just maybe 4 or 5 months, he was laid off from that company. So today he will be sharing with us what was the entire situation like, how did he cope up with this short phase in his life, and how was he able to stay mentally strong and able to crack yet another opportunity in a different country as good as Amazon. And we will also talk about layoffs in general, like how is the entire tech market like for software developers these days. And he will also share what all strategies you should apply while looking for jobs when you are laid off from a company, and how you should negotiate your package. And then he will also share some advice for the freshers out there who are just starting their career. And because he has also worked with us for quite a long time, he has been working as a mentor with AccioJob, has also mentored a lot of students in the past. So he will be sharing what common mistakes people are making these days, and what all things they should be doing in order to land a job as soon as possible. So overall, the conversation is going to be really insightful and intense. So do watch it till the end. And before moving forward, take a moment to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon so that you're always notified on all our upcoming videos. So welcome, Rohan. Thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule to do this with us. Can you quickly introduce yourself for our viewers?
So hi everyone, I'm Rohan. I am working currently as a software engineer in Booking.com in its headquarters in Amsterdam. And some of you from AccioJob might know me. I was an instructor there. I've been mentoring a lot of students, so it's been something which I really connect. And today me and Shivani are going to discuss some of the key points on, let's say, layoffs or the current IT climate. And it's all, people say, is it like very crazy and all, and yeah, some of it is true, but we're going to deep dive and see how we can tackle that and how we can be ready for that.
Great one. So, like you mentioned, for a year, right after your graduation, you worked in JP Morgan as a software engineer only, and then you landed this job. So, can you tell our viewers a little bit about like the entire process, like how did it happen? Because it was outside India. So, tell us the entire process. How was the selection process like, and what kind of questions were asked in the interview?
Of course. So I was actually working in JP Morgan for nearly a year. I think it was 10 months or something. So that was like, so even before I had graduated, I had already started working there, because some of you might know, in our 8th semester in college, we get that 6 months internship. So it's a continuation only. So I was working in JP Morgan from January to October. And yeah, so towards the end, I actually saw this opportunity. So a lot of people from my college actually got selected for Amazon Dublin, I think, and even before that, I was looking into some opportunities just generally in India as well as outside. So I saw this, that Amazon was hiring at that time, and at that time, actually, let's say 1.5 years ago, the hiring market was crazy. Right now, it's on freeze, but the hiring market wasn't crazy. So I saw a lot of opportunities, and I applied to a few of them wherever I saw that. Yeah. So one thing I always do when I'm applying for a particular job is like I follow this 60-70% rule, which is like something I've built on my own, that I see the qualifications and I see what all they want from me, and if I satisfy 60-70% of them, I definitely apply. Sometimes even 50, depending on how much I want the job. But yeah, so I actually saw it for Amazon Luxembourg, so I applied there. And they were actually, I mean, the process took a while, but they were actually pretty responsive with it. So I had to give 2 tests. One of them was a simple data structure based 2-3 questions, and the other one was more of like a day in Amazon kind of a test, in which you had to simulate you'll be getting different issues and how you handle them. And after these 2 tests, I was then we had an interview. So it was like 3 hours, so 1 hour interview back to back. And so something about Amazon is they're very proud of their leadership principles. So they actually inculcate in every interview, and even when we were working there, you see that that is the milestone for them, so which is very good actually. So in every interview, I would say in a 1 hour interview, 40 minutes were given to a data structure based question, and then 20 minutes were given to leadership principle based question. So it's like, how do you tackle a situation? And so for this, I usually suggest students to actually keep some issues in mind. So for, let's say for freshers, it's more of what they did in college. Maybe they did some internships, or if not, what college projects they did, like a team project and all. It actually makes up for good experience. And for someone who's like 1, 2, 3 years experience, then they can put something from their job. And to be very honest, these experiences don't need to be technical. It's more about they want to see how you handle a situation. So yeah, so it was like two tests, and then there were 3 interviews, and after that, like in a week or so, I received the call.
Okay, great. So Rohan, you worked there for quite some time, right? So can you just maybe tell our viewers like which team you were a part of, and what was some you guys were working on, and the tech stack, if you want to share that with us.
Yeah. So in Amazon, I was part of so in Luxembourg, it's the EMEA headquarters, which is the Europe, Middle East and Africa. So it's the EMEA headquarters of it. And what I was working on there is the search team. So search team is a very big department, or it's a lot of teams, but I was working in one part of that. So if you see, whenever we search for something in Amazon.com, so we do in India, we do it in Amazon.in, but similarly for, let's say, Germany or Netherlands, it's DE or NL. So when we search there, the results that pop up, that is what my team was working on. So small parts of that. And because Amazon is such a huge company, they have like very defined roles, or they have their internal frameworks for everything. And mostly it was built on Java, so we were working on that. And so, for example, I can just tell you about this. One of the projects is like, so in Netherlands or Germany and in many European countries, it's important when you're selling an electronic appliance, like a AC washing machine, or actually ACs are not that common, but your television or washing machine, you have to show the energy efficiency rating, which is how efficient is it. Like in India also, we have 3 stars, 5 stars. Right? Similarly here, it's told by the government that you have to show this. So my team actually, I only worked on a very small part of this because it was a huge project. But yeah, my team was the one who actually, so 2-3 teams actually helped and got this on board in the Amazon.nl or Amazon.de websites.
Okay, understood. So Rohan, okay, so I would want to ask this question. Just say you were not exactly a fresher. Like when you joined Amazon, you had already worked in JP Morgan for a year, and then you moved here, right? So can you tell us like why and how does the company like decide about the whole layoff thing? Because what I heard was that a lot of freshers were getting maybe laid off. But can you tell us what was the reason behind your case, and how do they actually like communicate about it? How does this entire thing pan out?
Sure. So actually, technically, I was a fresher because the role was a graduate role. So even though I had a little bit of experience, but they considered it to be a fresher role. But it's not like they only remove freshers or something, because people in the company and they different experienced people were laid off. And so it was like we were, of course, told the reason because of like in COVID, there was a lot of because everyone was inside, there was a lot of ordering and a lot of usage of Amazon, right? Which was expected that it would be inculcated into the buyer's mindset, and they would still be doing that. But yeah, there was definitely some decrease. So, to be very honest, I don't blame the company, because it is natural, right? If they don't remove a few people now, they might have to remove a lot later, which is sad for the ones who got removed. But again, if you think of it in the long term, they have to look out for themselves as well. But yeah, so we were informed, and like we were given sufficient time and everything to actually look for new jobs and all, and even internally we were given. And in Europe, it's like the laws are very good. So the government and the company works together to actually figure out what's best, even for the laid off employees.
Okay. Okay. So, ठीक है. So इसके बाद so Amazon is obviously a very big company, right? And maybe from the team that you were laid off, उसमें requirements के हिसाब से they would have decided on this. So isn't it possible, like for someone who has been laid off from the company, can apply to some other teams in Amazon itself, or maybe other countries में भी आप apply कर सकते हो internally, because obviously requirements तो वहाँ पे भी होती होंगी और internal job profiles तो आती रहती है. So is that possible for people who are laid off?
Definitely. So there is a certain period of time where you can do that. It depends from role to role, country to country, but there is time. But again, at that time it was like because there were not a lot of job openings, to be very honest, and a lot of people were laid off. So even if it was a more difficult selection than anything else. And so it's actually, it gets a little bit, of course you are welcome to try, and if you get it, that's great. But there are, like, you can of course look outside, because there are more opportunities if you see just one company versus everything else.
Okay. So Rohan, while you were in Amazon, was it a work from home for you, or you were like going to office regularly?
I was going to office, and by the time till the time I was there, it wasn't mandatory or something, but we were going to office, yeah, because personally I felt like a hybrid culture is better than just a work from home. With kids better, yeah, team bonding exercise and all, and especially when you're trying to meet people, so it's good.
Yes, makes sense. So can you maybe tell us a little bit about work culture in Amazon, because we have heard some negative things about it. So can you throw some light on that?
Yeah, so to be very honest, I can only speak about what I saw, and in Luxembourg the culture was amazing, right? There was definitely work-life balance, and especially when we are moving to a new country, there are so many things to actually take care of it, trying to find a house, trying to settle in, furniture, everything. So my team was super supportive, and all of my friends. So a lot of people from India actually went to Amazon Luxembourg. So I was in a touch with few of them, and for all of them, the team was super nice. We were just telling our managers that we need to see a house and everything, and they just let us go. And even with work, if I just talk about work, the work-life culture was good. Like, we were coming in time, going like as soon as we've done our work, we were going in normal times and all. And the people were really welcoming. They were giving us good information, not just about the team and the code and everything, but even about the city, the country, and like what all things to do and everything. So I mean, it's nice, and you see a lot of people from everywhere around the world. So it's a diverse group, and you I mean, I really love that about this.
Okay, cool. So Rohan, like you mentioned, thoda time lagta hai, right? I mean, when you go out of your country to settle in a new country, you take care of a lot of things. मतलब आप पूरा घर setup करते हो, furniture लेते हो, ये सब चीजें करते हो, right? And then you finally get used to that kind of environment, set yourself in. You face a situation like this, right? I mean, you're fired. So can you tell us, like, what kind of things were going on in your head? And obviously your parents would have also asked you to just come back and, try for maybe more opportunities from India itself. So how was that entire situation like, and how did you cope through it?
So it was actually a like very interesting time. So me and my flatmate, we were both laid off. We were both in the same team. So so it was kind of like a good thing also, because we were joking about it. And like, I mean, so what happened was, we were like a few of our friends, we always used to get together, and so two of us were laid off, and we were all making jokes about it and all. And I mean, it's just what has happened, what was supposed to happen happened, right? So now all you can do is actually damage control and work towards it. And to be very honest, it worked out great for both of us, for me and my flatmate as well. But yeah, you're right. I mean, initially it's a lot, because we were just barely getting settled in. We had finally bought our last piece of furniture 10 days ago, maybe, before we got the news. And then we were like, okay. So yeah, your brain like springs into action. You think about all different things. So we were given a little bit of time, but so like for me and even for my flatmate, what we did was, we had our mental goals that by the time, if we don't get this, what will be our approach, and we were just building up upon that. So definitely the things we were very proactive even from day one. That so there is just two things to mainly focus on, right? You have to be try to be not too down, to be very honest. It's easier said than done, but yeah. And the second thing is you have to work on your personal growth and just look for new opportunities. So that's what we did. We were like building up our resumes, getting them reviewed, and we started applying. Like I think in 1 or 2 days we already started applying. And even to keep our minds fresh, we used to I went on a lot of trips after I got laid off. So I was just roaming around Europe and just taking opportunities and applying at the same time. So that was good.
Okay. So do you like get some sort of I notice pehle se that this might happen, or does this happen like suddenly? Because obviously then you'll have to plan applying to other companies as well, right? So how does it?
Yeah, so we do get so you get to know that you are going to be laid off, and then you get a little bit of time. So yeah, I wouldn't say that it's abrupt, at least in Europe, what I've seen personally for me. But yeah, you get some time, so you have time to actually get your affairs in order and then plan accordingly.
Okay, so you guys started looking for jobs like right after that, or you took some time, like you said, you took a vacation for some time and then you started planning applying to other companies?
So I mean, because what usually happens is you apply and then maybe you hear back from them in a week or so. So we did, to be very honest, because like no matter what you say, you won't be able to relax, right? It will be something on your mind. So we did started applying immediately, but at the same time we also because interviews and all, they take time to set up and everything. I also went on a couple of trips and just roamed around.
Okay, so apart from Booking.com, Rohan, like how many other companies did you apply to, and what sort of approach did you follow? Like you were just reaching out to people or recruiters on LinkedIn, or how were you going about it?
Okay, so yeah, LinkedIn is to be very honest, it is my one and only source for applying to jobs, what I've seen, and it has worked well for me. So either I applied via LinkedIn or I apply via the particular company's jobs career site, which is like you don't know a lot of companies, right? Maybe you will remember like 15 of them and you can just go, but LinkedIn is like one-stop solution and you'll be able to filter companies. So what I did was, my approach was, I knew what all places usually have opportunities. So for example, to be very honest, even in Luxembourg, Amazon was the one company which was like good there, because there were like small tech companies, but they wouldn't be able to pay what Amazon was doing. And other than that, like the locations I mainly targeted was Netherlands, Dublin, a little bit of Germany. These were my main focus because I knew that there are a lot of tech companies here and I might get some opportunities. So I used to filter based on my I'm a full stack developer, like both front end and back end. So I used to filter based on those and these locations particularly. So I made up notions and just categorize myself. Yeah, for every location I want to apply for, like every day or every other day maybe, because the job listing also gets old. So every other day I'm applying to these companies. At the same time, I'm trying to maybe see what my resume lacks and everything. Go from there.
Okay, so Rohan, obviously you are a full stack developer and you have been mentoring with AccioJob for quite some time. So DSA के fundamentals and everything is like pretty clear to you. You had already like Amazon भी आपने थोड़ा time पहले निकाला था. So उस front पे तो obviously आपको problem नहीं आई होगी when you were looking for jobs. But when it comes to maybe HR rounds, right? Because whenever any HR of the company, they ask about you and about the previous company you worked in. So obviously when they know that you were laid off, not that you're just switching, so they might try to just give you an offer which is something a little less deserving, right? I mean, probably something less than that. So how do you manage with that? Like how do you end up negotiating what you actually deserve in such cases?
Okay, so to be very honest, my HR with Booking was super nice. She gave me constant feedbacks. This is one of the nicest interview process I've ever been in. Like I was getting feedback, even though I was clearing the rounds. It's not like, okay, you cleared the round. No, it's like, this is the things you did great, this is what you could improve, and I really love that. So I did not face this with Booking, but yeah, with some other companies that I applied to. So one thing I really need like people to remember is getting laid off and getting fired for like low performance are two different things, right? Getting laid off, what usually happens in our mind, we're like, oh no, we need a job. But what, again, easier said than done, but what we should keep in mind is 1 or 2 months we can take out. In the long scheme of things, this won't really matter, and in 1 or 2 months you can actually get a company where you like the work and they're not lowballing you, right? So you should remember that. See, if you get fired because of performance or everything, then you can see it as a downgrade. But when you just got laid off, it's not your fault. Maybe it's not even company's fault as such. It's just something that happened. So you should take out your time and actually not compromise, I would say, and try to actually find a better offer. Yeah. And even if, let's say, you get one lowballed offer, you can apply to more and just go from there.
I think you just need to be more confident on your skills, and you know the reason like why you got fired. So laid off. So I think there is nothing to be ashamed of, and you can just talk about it properly to the HR managers.
And there's one thing I've also seen with people is they try to hide it to their interviews, and I do not really prefer that, because they will know some or the other way, and it just creates a bad conversation between the two. You should be upfront from the start.
Yes, that's great, Rohan. So moving to my next question, like you mentioned कि जब layoffs होते हैं तो you don't really know like कि exact reason क्या रहा होगा. Even companies की भी fault नहीं होती है. It's mostly because of the macroeconomic factors, right, which are not in our hand. So can you now that you've been working for quite some time in this industry now, can you tell us exactly what is the scenario like in the tech industry? मतलब जैसे जो कोविड टाइम पे जो बूम आया था, मतलब इतने सारे ओपनिंग्स आए थे, वो ऑब्वियसली अभी थोड़े तो कम हुए हैं, और लोगों को थोड़ा सा डाउट हो गया कि whether this whole profile as a good stepping stone for them, is it working that well for them or not? Should they just maybe switch to something else now, because opportunities काफी टाइम से इतनी अच्छी आई नहीं है. So can you maybe throw some light on that? What exactly is the scenario, and how is this going to pan out in the coming years as well?
Yeah. So usually what happens is think of it as a graph. Before COVID, if you think of pre-COVID times, IT was on a constant rise, right? It had a good, but because of COVID, it went like a exponential rise, right? And now it's obviously because of supply, demand, and everything is just coming down. So yeah, there is no doubt that situation's not as great as it was during the COVID times. We were getting a lot of great offers and everything. But I still do feel that this is going to improve very soon, and you cannot think of this world without tech anymore. So definitely it is a great stepping stone. I've seen a lot of people, even when I was teaching in AccioJob, people were switching to tech, and I totally believe it is still 100% the correct choice. But yeah, with every industry there is some time highs and lows. So this is probably a low of the industry right now, but there are still opportunities, and again, you can use it as stepping stones, right? You get an opportunity, maybe it's not the best one, but then you try to go on from there, and so on. So right now, I would say it's a numbers game. I do believe in applying to the right companies. So you just see go to the profile, read about the company. It's not about all the companies, right? So you go see the company, research. If you think it would be a good fit, go ahead, apply, and take out time every day a little bit to apply and all. And even if you're applying to 5 to 10 companies a day, it comes out to 200-300 companies a month. So it's a lot. And then again, because companies are also getting a lot of applications, maybe 10 of them will say, and 4 or 5 of them will be actually pan out, but it's still not a bad ratio, to be very honest.
Okay, Rohan, okay. So my next question would be around what people should actually prepare for. So if you have also heard this discussion, it's been going on for some time, that when it comes to maybe applying to startups and companies that are looking for developers, they're mostly looking for people who can do development. But mostly if you have done a lot of open source projects, that sort of mindset they're looking for. But a lot of big companies like Amazon, they are mostly yet still focusing on data structures and algorithms. So a lot of students are confused whether they should focus mostly on doing maybe a lot of open source contributions, or they should stick to the fundamentals and make sure that their DSA is good and then apply. So what balance do you think a person should keep while studying software development?
Yeah, and so to understand the balance, first we need to development work is pretty clear, right? Startups want development, people who can do development because they want them right on the bat. and
Yes.
like they want them to code directly for a front end or a back end or maybe an ML machine learning or something. But if we think about the bigger companies, why do they ask for DSA? Is because they have their internal frameworks. All they want is someone with algorithmic thinking who can adapt, right? So I still do believe that, and personally I've been more of a development guy than a DSA guy always, but I do believe that there is no getting around data structures. So you should actually practice them on a regular basis, at least a little bit. I'm not saying go for a code forces or something. If that's not your thing, that's fine. But you should actually, because that algorithmic thinking, believe it or not, it actually helps with development as well, right? So I would say it should be a regular practice to practice some questions or have the concepts in mind, and even before going to an interview, see what questions there are that are being asked, right? And then of course with development work, it's I would say it's a more of a long process than just a small thing, because with development you need to have some, once you have worked in development for let's say 6 months, worked as in created some projects, then your portfolio is ready, right? You don't need to do day-to-day work on that. Maybe just before the interview revise the topics. Data structure you can keep on practicing and all, because that is the first period. Most of the companies still, if they are having if they are asking for a test, 60-70% of them would ask for a data structure question.
Okay, understood. Okay, that's fair piece of advice, Rohan. One last question, then we'll end it here. So you have been mentoring with AccioJob for quite some time. You've been teaching here as well, and you're a full stack developer. So and we get a lot of tier 3 college students, right? All of them did not get much opportunities in college and maybe did not even study well. Now they're trying to make up for that. So can you maybe share what all common mistakes students coming from tier 3 colleges are making, and what is the right way to go about it? Like what all things, tips and tricks maybe in your opinion they can apply in their life, so that their entire journey of learning coding is a little bit smoother, and even the whole process of finding a job is also smoother.
Definitely. So one thing I would say, like this tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, this kind of stops once you're out of college. Okay, maybe it helps till you're getting a college placement. After that, if you did or you did not, it just stops, more or less. Okay, then what matters is actually what you're doing next. So people who are in AccioJob or whosoever are doing some courses and all, if you do it for like 6 months, you're back on track. Okay, so in the next 10 years, 6 months won't amount to anything, right? So what I would suggest to focus on is actually building your skill set now. Okay, it doesn't really matter what college you come from and all. Once you have a good portfolio, once you are able to clear the data structure questions, no one's going to question why you are from this college or what. They're going to focus on your skills. They're going to focus on how you're thinking in the interview, right? One thing I've always told my students is that think out loud during an interview. Show them what's the approach you're taking. So first, that works well in 2 ways. First, if you're in the right approach, they will see that you're not just jumping, you're actually, it's a line, it's not dots. And the second thing is, if you're going in a wrong approach, they actually do correct you, right? So that's one thing which is very important. And then when it comes, once you think you have and I wouldn't say be like 100% ready and then only start applying. Once you think you're 50-60% ready, you can start applying, and then it's a process, right? It has happened to me so many times. I've done an interview, I've been in an interview, and I realized that these are the things I'm lacking on. So I actually work on it after the interview. So there is one very important thing that you should keep in mind is, after an interview, see what all did you do right. So just make a note of it. What all did you not do so well? Just make a note of that as well. And it has happened to me as well, right? I wrote something in the expert column, and then when they ask question, I realized that maybe this tech doesn't necessarily is not for me in the expert one. So I switched it back. So these are the constant feedback that you should keep on taking and then working on it. And then it won't really matter what college you're from. What would matter is your skill set and how much of a grind you're showing, and how much jobs you're applying to, and what all you're learning from them.
That's amazing piece of advice, Rohan. Thank you so much for taking out time for doing this with us. I hope people watching this will find inspiration from you and start with their preparation as soon as possible. And yeah, thank you so much. That is it for today's video, guys. I hope you all liked it with Rohan and you find inspiration from him. If you want more such content, do let us know in the comments and we will bring more such people on our YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that you're always notified on all our upcoming videos. And thank you so much.